questions from our media. Jay, your line is now live.
Hey, thanks very much. And Jaylon, welcome back. I mean, now that you are entering your third fight, has the feeling changed at all ahead of the bout? I know you had the amateur run, so maybe that changes things a little, but are there more nerves, less nerves as your career progresses?
I would say I get a little more nervous as everything goes. More, my record is on the line, of course, so I get a little more nervous, but that just means I care. So I love it.
All right, and just give us your thoughts on this matchup with Cody Matthews and how you see this one going.
It's going to be a painting, and his face will be the canvas.
You know, when you talk about making that sort of work of art, is there anything in particular you want to demonstrate in this fight?
Yeah, really my athleticism. I feel like my last two fights, you know, I wrestled a lot, I did a lot of damage, but this fight I want to show my athleticism and my stand-up a lot more. I know he has a knockout, so I'm excited to go out there and see what he has to offer.
All right, well, best of luck this Friday.
Thank you.
All right, Abraham.
Hey, Jaylon Bates, how you doing?
Great, how are you?
I'm good. My question for you is, you've been in Bellator for 2 fights already. You're 2-0. How much has your journey changed since you started fighting for Bellator, and how much have you learned, not just about fighting, but about yourself?
I've learned that actually before I actually started fighting in Bellator that I wasn't taking this sport as serious as I could. And I feel like that's been the biggest change with me, is that I'm taking it a lot more serious than I thought I already was. And I've seen the progression in my game elevate. Nothing's changed, though, with me personally. Like, I'm still me. I just go in and do my thing and win.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Stephen?
Hey, Jaylon, it says you're fighting out of Las Vegas, but your affiliation is American Top Team Portland on your bio. Where are you training out of these days?
Yeah. So I'm actually in between Vegas and Oregon, but I do train at American Top Team Portland. That is my home gym. I do have boxing trainers, and I do train in Vegas at times. So I don't know why it says I'm fighting out of Vegas, but I am from the fight capital of the world, so that's probably why.
The reason I was asking is because that gym has been shut down for quite a while because of the pandemic and the restrictions. So I was just wondering if you'd had to sort of make any adjustments to how you prepare for fights.
Yeah, no. The gym's actually been closed to professionals who actually had bouts coming up. So the training for me hasn't stopped. We've been just preparing and staying ready.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Jeff, go ahead.
Jeff Brantley from the Man in the Cage podcast. Jaylon, your first 2 pro fights have been in front of no fans. How does it feel this time out that you get to go put on a show for the fans this time at Bellator 261?
The beast is going to roar. That's all I know.
Awesome. Thank you.
Santiago?
Hi, Jaylon. Greetings from Amsterdam, and thank you for the time. You just fought last April, and you scored a beautiful submission win. Now the promotion is bringing you back again 2 months later for another fight. Can you feel it as well, Jaylon, that Bellator is giving you a lot of great opportunities to showcase your skills so that you can grow yourself into the bantamweight rankings?
Absolutely. That's why I'm so thankful and blessed to be here. I've said that for my first interview. I'm just blessed, extremely blessed. So extremely thankful, and just move with an attitude of gratitude every day.
Scott Coker has hinted that a bantamweight Grand Prix could be next for Bellator. Is $1 million Grand Prix in this very deep division something that would excite you, Jaylon?
$1 million doesn't excite me because I'm looking for more than millions, but that's cool. We'll start there.
Good luck on fight night, sir.
Thank you.
Mason?
Hey, Jaylon, this is Mason from the Sports Sesh podcast. How are you, man?
Doing good.
That's great to hear. As we know, your last fight ended via a finish in the second round. Can fans expect a similar result come Friday night?
Yeah, you can expect me to just go toe-to-toe with Corey, or whatever his name is, and we're going to stand there and we're going to see what he has to offer, and I'm going to give him everything I got. and see if we can do it.
And what do you expect to be next for you after this fight?
I want any of these 5, Duma, Casabell, Will Smith, Kimball, any of these Bellator guys. Let me eat them.
All right. Thanks for the time, Jaylon. Good luck on Friday.
Thank you.
The recording has stopped. This meeting is being recorded.
We are now being joined by Søren Bak. We'll begin with a few questions for our media. Mason, your line is now live.
Hey, Søren, this is Mason from the Sports Sesh podcast. How are you?
Hello, sir. I'm good.
As we know, you've had some wins over some very tough fighters already in the past, including Morgan Sherrier and Paddy Pimblett. Having fought these tough guys, do you think this gives you an advantage over your opponent?
Yeah, I think both guys are world class, and for me to beat them, it was a big challenge for me, and it just sets me apart from most other people my age and career-wise.
And this is your first fight, as we know, since 2019. How have you improved during this layoff?
So it kind of fit perfectly because I went into my last fight with a knee injury, which kind of deprived me of really showcasing what I can do. So Corona hit and everybody couldn't train, but I was rehabilitating my knee. So it couldn't have been more perfectly fit for my schedule. So since then we've been retraining, rehabilitating the knee, and from there just peaked on everything.
Dylan.
Hey there, Søren. Appreciate you making some time.
No worries.
I'm just curious because obviously you have accolades at both featherweight and also lightweight, this one being at 155 pounds here. Are you looking at isolating your focus to this division for the foreseeable future, or would you like to concurrently compete at both featherweight and lightweight?
So I'm looking to make my mark here at 155 pounds. That's the weight class I've been most of my career, and I really only took one off in 145 pounds to prove a point, really, in Cage Warriors, to do what McGregor did, to take both championships. So it's definitely not the ideal weight class for me, although I'm not opposed to it in somewhere in the future.
Awesome. Thanks for the time, man.
No worries.
Santiago.
Hi, sir, and greetings from Amsterdam, and thank you for the time. How is the situation right now in Denmark? Was it easy for you to set up a camp?
So I wouldn't say it was easy, not as easy as it usually is for me. I have to say that, but we did quite well, I believe. Like even though restrictions in Denmark are hard, and that has been an issue since Corona hit, pro athletes have been exempted from those strict restrictions on training. So we had a pretty good team put together, and spent a lot of time and prepared for this fight.
Danish MMA is excelling at the moment. There is Nicolas Dalby and Marco Madsen in another promotion. And here in Bellator, you have Mats Burnell and, of course, yourself. With the world slowly opening back up, do you think a Bellator event in Denmark is something that's going to happen at some point in the future?
That's my goal. I will tell you that much. So I'm going to bring Bellator back home to Denmark.
Good luck on fight night, sir.
Thank you.
All right, Søren, thank you very much for the time, and good luck on Friday.
Thank you, sir.
The recording has stopped. This meeting is being recorded.
All right, we are now being joined by Simon Biyong. Once again, we'll begin with a few questions from our media. Santiago, your line is now live.
Hi, Simon. Greetings from Amsterdam, and thank you for the time. You were supposed to fight. Hello, you were supposed to fight against Melvin Manhoef in October. That fight fell apart. What happened in your view? Because there was a lot of uncertainty about that fight. What happened?
Yes, he's right. I was supposed to make my debut against the veteran Melvin Manhoef, and I was saw in that fight a huge opportunity for me to get in the top 10 position, because I think right now Melvin Manhoef is a ranked opponent, but unfortunately that fight was cancelled. The real reason, I don't know. All I know is the Bellator staff say me maybe because of the French Boxing Commission in France, that fight was not enabled to go on because Melvin Manhoef was too experienced than me. So I was pissed off, but what can I say? I was disappointed, but at the same time, I remain patient and ready for the next opportunity.
You are not fighting in Europe. You're fighting in the United States. Do you like these trips to the United States, Simon?
Obviously. United States for me is a dream. Is a dream to fight here, and I'm here too to make my debut. So I'm really happy for that big opportunity. And I was scheduled to fight in the prelims, and now I'm open up the main card. So what can I ask for more? I'm just ready to perform.
Last one for me. Italy is doing an amazing job in the Euro 2020 football tournament. Are you proud to see how the team is performing, and do you think they can win the tournament?
In reality, football is not a big interest for me, because I'm a former basketball player, so I'm more in interest about basketball, and I like and basketball and art. So if Italy can win, that's good. But right now, I'm so more focused about my debut.
Jay, go ahead.
Thanks very much. And Simone, congratulations on finally getting to make your Bellator debut. I'm just curious, how do you approach preparing for Christian Edwards? Because you both had different opponents originally, and you haven't had a lot of time.
Yes, so I don't know, like the question is prepare for Christian Edwards. I don't think I had so much time to prepare to fight Christian Edwards, but it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, it's a fight. It's two persons, two humans, two athletes who meet each other in the cage, and the better athlete will get the win. So I think also for him is a short notice. For me, is a short notice, but we have to show up, and I'm ready to show up. I'm more than ready.
And when we hear about Edwards as this unbeaten prospect, a training partner of John Jones, kind of the next big thing, is that added motivation for you to make a statement in this fight?
Yes, for me, at the end of the day, it's just a fight. I don't see in Christian Edwards John Jones not going to fight for him. And at the end of the day, if just promotion, if just hype, it's going to be me and him in the cage, and no John Jones, no coach. So if it's really that big name, so I can wait. But I'm here to test myself. First, I'm here to test myself. I'm here to test my skill. I'm here to put myself in the position where I can have a ranked opponent for my second Bellator fight. So, and Christian Edwards is in my way, and I cannot allow anybody to get in my way.
Mason?
Hi, Simon. This is Mason from the Sports Sesh podcast. How are you?
Hi.
What are your thoughts on Christian Edwards as an opponent?
Excuse me?
What do you think of Christian Edwards?
He's a good opponent. Christian Edwards is a good opponent, have good striking, He looks good in his last fight. He is undefeated. But for me, it's not the first time I take a O for a fighter. So if I'm ready to face him, I think regardless of his last opponent, I'm the real challenge for him. I'm the first challenge. So I hope he's ready because I'm ready.
All right, we'll take one or two more here. Dylan?
Hey there, Simon. Appreciate you making some time.
Thank you.
I'm just curious because earlier you were talking about your passion for art, and I'm seeing that painting is something you enjoy doing there. I'm kind of wondering, when you're out there in the Bellator cage, like, do you look at it as like an extension of that? Like, how much do you look at it as like creative minded artistic expression?
Obviously, for me, martial art is expression of body. Body is an art of peace. And you just have to think how our body is built. Like we are like no other species in that planet looks like us. So we are special humans. We are special animal. And I think art is just like that. You have to show what you have inside your body, inside your heart, and martial art and art have that same way. You have to be patient if you want a good result. If you want to be near of perfection, the first thing to learn is to be patient. So I'm gonna be patient. I'm gonna pick my shot and I'm gonna get that finish.
Thanks a lot for the insights, man. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
Last one, Ronald.
This is Ronald E. Smith from Getting Real. My only question for you, Simon, is just talk about during last year you had a fight, but then it got canceled, and you had to wait a whole year just to get another one. So during that time, was it frustrated for you trying to stay training and motivated while there's nothing going on at the time?
Like during the pandemic, I was always training. Me and my coach, we have a garage, and all day, 24/7, we were training in order to get the big opportunity. And right now, I think destiny put myself in that position where I have a fighter with a lot of hype, and I intend to take advantage of that. And the huge part was also to get my visa to the United States. Because of the COVID restriction, it was difficult to get that visa. But with the help of the Bellator staff, and we finally managed to get things done. And I'm thankful for that.
All right. Thanks, Simon. Appreciate the time and good luck on Friday.
Thank you, host.
The recording has stopped.
Reminder, if you have a question for Daniel, please press the raise hand button at the bottom of your screen.
This meeting is being recorded.
All right, we are now being joined by Daniel Weichel. We'll begin with a few questions from our media. Mason, your line is now live.
Hey Daniel, this is Mason from the Sports Sesh podcast. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. Thanks, you.
That's great to hear. What are your thoughts on your opponent overall?
I think he's a tough, hungry fighter, and looking forward to that fight and give him his first loss.
And as we know, this is going to be your 53rd professional MMA bout. Do you think your experience is going to be the biggest factor in this fight?
No, I never put too much weight on my experience and my former fights. I hoped I learned from it, from all the fights I did, win or losses, and I carried with me, and I try to be here now in the moment and bring all I've learned to the next one, and try to be there, bring my full potential, and enjoy the fight.
Jay Anderson.
Daniel, welcome back. Just two quick ones for me. First off, just give us your thoughts on this matchup, because you're the veteran here, obviously, against an undefeated up-and-comer in Keoni Diggs.
Yes, I'm very excited for that fight. Undefeated, it's a challenge to me to give him his first loss, and but I'm really looking forward to that fight, especially after the fights I had, and now I want to prove really what my potential is. I want to show it Friday night.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't pick your brain about this. Obviously, the Grand Prix didn't go how you wanted, but you've shared the cage with Patricio Pitbull on 2 occasions. He's going to fight AJ McKee next month in the finale. Is McKee the first man to beat Pitbull, in your opinion? I shouldn't say the first man, but will he win it all in the end?
Definitely, he is a threat for Pitbull, and I'm very excited for that fight too. As I could see AJ improving all over his career, I followed him since he's been also with Bellator. I think this is one of the best fights that Bellator can put on, and I'm very excited for it. But Pitbull is Pitbull, and I don't know. It's very hard for me to pick on that one, but if I have to, I would say Pitbull will make it, but really anything can happen, especially with all the improvements that AJ made.
All right. Thanks very much for the time.
Thank you.
Abraham?
Hey, Daniel, you're 36 years old. How much do you believe you have left in the tank, especially considering you fought a very high-ranked opponent in your last fight like Emmanuel Sanchez?
Honestly, I don't know. Now I have this fight in front of me, and as long as I enjoy this game, I will be here. When this stops, I will quit.
Dylan, go ahead.
Hey there, Daniel. I appreciate you making some time.
Thank you.
I'm just curious because you're presently ranked number 7 in the division. You're getting ready to fight an undefeated contender in the weight class. I'm kind of wondering what your broader goals are within the division for the calendar year, just with this being your first fight of 2021.
Honestly, I don't want to look ahead of this fight, not in one point, just because in the past, like in the tournament, it was like always a little bit there to look what's after the next one. Now I really want to focus on this one fight, and I see where I go from there.
For sure. Thanks for the time, man.
Thank you.
Jeff, go ahead.
Jeff Brantley from the Man in the Cage podcast. Daniel, you mentioned some of your recent performances. What did you take away specifically from those fights, and what did you work on, going into this one coming up on Bellator 261 specifically?
I felt that in a couple situations I really held back, and I didn't do the things that I wanted to do or that I trained for. I want to really let go of all the stopping in the fight. I really want to let go and go with the flow, and just put the pressure on like I did in training.
Thank you, and good luck on Friday.
Thank you.
Santiago?
Guten Tag, Daniel, and greetings from Amsterdam. Thank you for the time.
Hello,
In recent years, you were the person to give the featherweight champion Pitbull the most problems in a fight. A lot of people even thought you won that fight in 2018. After that, Pitbull has been finishing people left and right. Why do you think he couldn't do any of that to you? Is your style perfectly made to fight someone like him?
I think I was very well prepared for that fight, and also, like I said, I was very close to finish him. But it is what it is. He's a champion, and he won that fight fair and square. So, but I really think we prepared perfectly for that fight, and it was just an inch that was missing. And I still feel that I can beat him with the right mindset. It's just a thing that played a little role in my mind, what kept me from winning this fight.
MMA is growing every day in Deutschland. You have fought all over Europe for Bellator, Daniel, but not yet in Germany. How much would it mean to you if you could bring Bellator back to your own country?
Man, this would mean the world to me. I'm really waiting for very long to fight back in Germany, because I always loved the German crowd, and I know there's many people in Germany loving the sport of MMA, and it would be amazing to have Bellator there. I'm really looking forward to have Bellator one day in Germany, hopefully in my city, Frankfurt.
Good luck on fight night, sir.
Thank you, appreciate it.
All right, last one here, Ronald.
This is Ronald E. Smith. My question is just preparing for what have you done to prepare for this upcoming fight? Did you have to do anything different in the gym?
We were lucky that also through the COVID restrictions, the professional fighters were able to train. So I'm very happy to have that privilege, especially with my team and gym, MMA Spirit. We're able as professionals to train. So basically, we could keep training going the way we usually train. And as far as preparation goes, trainer analyzed my opponent, and we did all this stuff and tried to listen a lot to my body, and came here without injuries, perfectly prepared, and happy and looking forward to Friday night.
All right, thanks for the time, Daniel. Good luck Friday.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
The recording has stopped. This meeting is being recorded.
You guys can hear me?
All right. We are now being joined by Sidney Outlaw. We'll begin with a few questions from our media. Mason, your line is now live.
Hey, what's going on, Sydney? This is Mason from the Sports Desk podcast. How are you?
I'm doing good, sir. How are you?
I'm doing very well. This is your first fight in almost a year now. How have you improved during this layoff?
I improved in every way, sir. And that's a good way.
What are your thoughts on Myles Jury as an opponent?
He is another guy that can breathe air just like me. So therefore, I have nothing to worry about.
Dylan, go ahead.
Hey there, Sydney. Appreciate you making the time.
Oh, man. Thank you. Thank all of you guys.
I was just curious your thoughts on the matchup, just solely through the lens of the fact that you're positioned at number 7 in the rankings, fighting the number 5 ranked fighter. Like, what are your thoughts on that aspect of the bout?
Number 7. That's kind of new to me. But however, I kind of don't care, to be honest. Yeah, number 5 isn't the champion. Number 1 isn't the champion. So obviously, I have one place I want to be. So nothing else. The numbers really don't matter. It's just who's in front of me. So right now, I'm focused on Myles Jury, and he's number 5. So the number really doesn't mean anything because I might beat him. Well, I will beat him, and I might go to number 9. So the rankings, it's I don't know how I'm number 7. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question. Number 7.
And just as a quick follow-up, if I could, I mean, I was hearing you sing a Millie as you were doing the mic check there. Can we expect you to come out to that song for your fight here?
I would definitely not, but I love that. I love it. You're a smart guy. I feel like Lil Wayne right now. Look at the mic in front of you, man. Like I should just bust out a couple, bars that get signed by Drake.
Thanks for the time, man.
Thank you, brother.
All right, last one here, Abraham.
Hey, Sidney, thank you for the time.
Thank you.
I was wondering how your experience fighting Michael Chandler and Adam Picoletti has helped you in preparation for this fight, since he has fought top guys like Chad Mendes, Charles Oliveira, and so on.
It definitely actually when I'm in there, it's mostly me versus me. I just gotta get better. Weight cut have to be better, lifestyle have to be better, and everything is slowly making that transition. And I get happier. I get confident. I'm always confident, but sometimes you can get that confidence from the wrong places. Now when you actually use your discipline and actually use some of the things, not just inside the cage or not just inside the gym, but outside, meaning your life, like your life is different, you move different, you eat different, your habits are different, things are changing. When I fought Michael Chandler, I realized, hey, I have to really be prepared. I really have to not eat a hot dog, and some cheeseburger with some french fries, stuffed crust pizza and some, Chinese food, when you get the munchies here and there. What you need to do is stay prepared, Don't just indulge like that, and, fix it a little bit. Like, after the fight, I may eat some Chipotle. Well, yeah, I definitely will. I definitely will eat some Chipotle because I think I earned it, but I'm gonna get right back on my diet. Thank God I'm sponsored by Ideal Nutrition, the Chicken Pound. I got put good fuel in my body from like A-Game, like the Monsters, like a bunch of other stuff, and I'm definitely fortunate.
All right. Thanks for the time, Sidney. Good luck on Friday.
Hey, thank you guys so much. I wasn't even looking at the
The recording has stopped. This meeting is being recorded.
All right, we are now being joined by Liz Carmouche. We'll begin with a few questions from our media. Mason, your line is now live.
Hi, Liz. This is Mason from the Sports Sesh podcast. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I can't complain. As we know, you fought some very tough girls in the past. Ronda Rousey, Miesha Tate, Jennifer Mayer, just to name a few. Having fought these really tough girls, do you think that gives you an advantage in this fight?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Having fought people like Valentina Shevchenko, Ronda Rousey, and all the names that you mentioned, having that experience under your belt, the more reps that you get in the cage prepares anybody. So that certainly is going to help on Friday night.
And what are your thoughts on your opponent?
She's a tough opponent. She's 10-0, so it's really something I'm looking to create that first flaw on a record.
Jay?
Hey, thanks very much, Liz. And no, I spoke to Kana earlier this week, and she suggested the winner here could see a shot at gold with the right performance, not just a win. So in your opinion, what is the right performance in this case? What's it going to take to lock up that title shot?
A strong finish. Even if we put on a dominant performance and it went to decision, that I don't think that's something either of us want. At least I know for myself, it's not the case. I want to finish her. I want to make that flaw in her record something that she remembers for her life. So whether it's that I'm cutting her open, or I'm ground pounding her out, she's tapping, or I'm submitting her, it needs to be a strong finish.
And this journey that you've been on in MMA that I guess you could say you started in 2010 with your pro debut. It's been over 10 years now of active competition. There's been some twists and some turns. Can that journey ever be finished in a satisfying way, in your opinion, if you don't win gold in a major promotion?
Not at all. You're absolutely correct with that.
All right. Well, best of luck come Friday.
Thank you.
Mark?
Thank you, Liz. It sometimes takes a little while for you to kind of get used to a camp, especially after a couple of fights. How has it been for you to acclimate with the new camp? And, have you kind of changed your kind of point of view when it comes to fighting in the cage?
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. When you're fighting in a new camp, trying to learn the terminology with your new coaches, trying to learn the different training programs, everything, it takes a little bit of adjustment. And I certainly felt like I finally hit that groove and I really understand my coaches. We have good communication, a good rapport, and understanding of how we do everything. And that's something that I'm really enjoying now because I feel like it's helping me reach this new level and it's going to work and transfer really well into this fight.
And how exciting is it to be able to fight in front of fans again?
It's really exciting to feel that energy again and just know that you'll hear those people when you're walking out. When I'm in the cage, I'm not really that person that hears them one way or the other, but it's a walk out and the exit that you really can feel the energy of the people.
Thanks, Liz. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Maria?
Hi, Liz. Maria with Throwing Bows Podcast. How you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm well. So, you've been down this road before, just taking on whoever gets put in front of you. But, obviously every situation is a little bit different. And coming up in this fight and going up against an undefeated fighter, do you ever just feel like, here I go again, like having to teach this person, welcome them to what it feels like to have that adversity? So, what's your mindset going into these types of situations?
My mindset really for this one is for me to just go on and put a dominant performance. I'm not really trying to concentrate on her and think about everything that she's able to do or not do, or really just make that name like, okay, here we go again. They're putting another undefeated fighter and I'm the person that has to change something about that. It's really about me just going out there and breaking her will and just showing my dominance in this division and why I deserve to be the next title holder.
And with that, talking about the title shot, as you already mentioned, clearly you want to put on a dominant performance. If it goes to the cards or something like that, you can certainly understand if the shot doesn't come. But if that does end up being the case, what's next?
I'm at the beck and call of Bellator, even taking a short notice fight like this. I said when I came into this organization that I wanted to start from the ground up and I wanted to earn my way through the ranks. And right now, even if with the win over Kana, that doesn't necessarily put me in title contention. There's still somebody ranked above me. So that means I need one more fight before that. I totally understand. If this fight earns me straight into title contention, even better.
Awesome. Best of luck.
Thank you.
All right, Dylan.
Hey there, Liz. I appreciate you making some time.
Hey, no problem.
I was just curious because the name Ronda Rousey was mentioned earlier at the beginning of the scrum, and just, working with Justin Flores, her longtime judo coach, as you're, readying to fight somebody who was an Olympic qualifier in judo and is a decorated player in their own regard. Like, do you feel like the tools are, I guess, sharpened in the most ideal way for this kind of opponent?
Yeah, absolutely. Working with Justin Flores is really about my own growth. I didn't know that I was going to be facing Kana, and I in no way had that set in stone or anything like that. It was just me wanting to step out and to grow better as a fighter. And I had an opportunity to work with Justin. He was wonderful, and it just happened to translate so well that the things I learned with him, I can apply to use in this fight.
And just as a quick follow-up out of curiosity, because I'd seen an article where you were crediting the military for the career longevity, and just with, Timothy Johnson also being a military veteran as well and having that pass. I'm kind of wondering, have you gotten to have any interaction or talk about those mutual experiences at all, or not so much?
No, unfortunately, because of COVID, I haven't really had any interaction with any of the other fighters. I usually do feel like there are moments in the past where we would have an opportunity to get to know each other, see our associations, our backgrounds, whether it's military or otherwise. But because of COVID, we can't interact with each other. We have to stay in a room separately. So I haven't been able to touch base in any of my fights with any other fighters.
All right, we'll take a few more here.
Jeff Brantley from the Man in the Cage podcast. Liz, you talked about needing that or wanting that strong finish here to get that title shot by the end of the year. How do you foresee that happening? Do you have a prediction here? Do you think there's any part of your game, without giving too much away, obviously, that you can exploit her game in this fight?
Yeah, without giving too much away, I see a lot of possibilities here. And I know I say that a lot, but I really do. I think that there's just some limitations that she has in her game that she's really good at being able to implement. And in my shutting those down, it opens up more of my game to finish her in multiple different avenues.
Thanks and good luck on Friday.
Thank you.
Hey, how's it going, Liz? This is MMA Locker Room, part of Pub Sports Radio. You're one of the pioneers in this women's MMA field. How does it feel now to actually get the proper deserve and respect that all the women are getting now with the, blossoming of Clarissa Shields, Kayla Harrison, Chris Cyborg, and the list goes on, and yourself on that list as well?
Yeah, it's great. And I think that that's being done because of organizations like Bellator. Is they're starting to prioritize women. They're starting to see the people that have these strong skill sets. And instead of just exploiting them for the storyline that they have, they want to focus on our actual skills. And as a result for that, you're seeing them put on better performances, and they're respecting their fighters and taking care of them. And that's because of an organization like Bellator.
All right, Michael Morales.
Hey, Liz, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Everything good here. Thank you very much for your time. You made your debut inside the MMA industry in 2010. You made your debut in the UFC against Ronda in 2013. As a competitor, now 11 years since you made your debut, what do you think has been the key behind your evolution as a competitor inside the MMA industry now with Bellator?
It's my hunger for growth. I don't believe in stagnation. And I think that part of that comes from my military experience and always wanting to evolve and be better. And I've applied that discipline and those lessons into my fight career. And I'm constantly striving to be better. I always tell people that there are kids now that can start training at 4 years old. So by the time they go pro at 18, they've been doing it for 14 years. That's longer than I've been doing it. So if I sit still for any moment and I rest and I think that I'm ahead of everybody else, there's a child that's going to be able to beat me up, and I'm not going to allow that. So I work every day to make sure that when I look back, it's like, okay, my 5-year-old, when he's 18, he could beat me up one day. We could be on the mats, and I'm not going to let that happen. I have to be better so I can keep my kid away from me.
Awesome. Thank you very much, and wishing you success on Friday.
Thank you.
Santiago.
Hi, Liz. Greetings from Amsterdam, and thank you for the time.
Thank
the
you.
flyweight title is going to be up next month in a fight between champion Juliana Velasquez and Denise Kielholtz. How do you think this fight is going to play out? And do you think this fight of yours will be used to bring that next Bellator event in the spotlights?
I think it will absolutely help bring that next event into the spotlight. And I think that's going to be a great pair up in July for this title. And there are just so many strong strengths in both of those women. And they have so many accolades coming into this. It's really hard to pinpoint who's it going to be. But I know that I'm excited for July, not only myself as next contender, but also as a fan.
Good luck on Fight Night, Liz.
Thank you.
All right, last one here. Abraham.
Hey Liz, it's Abraham from the Fight League Report. You mentioned training with Justin Flores for your growth as a fighter. What have you learned from him, and do we expect any new tools to be seen in this fight?
Absolutely. With every fight, whether it's working with Justin or somebody else, you can always expect them to bring something out that you haven't seen before. I'm constantly looking to evolve and grow and to add new aspects and new tools into my game so I can show off for the fans and show off everyone. From Justin is not only to stuff judo, but also in ways to use judo to my own game. So maybe I'll be able to get in some of my own throws on Friday.
All right. Thanks for the time, Liz. Good luck on Friday.
Thank you.
The recording has stopped. This meeting is being recorded.
We are now being joined by Valentin Moldavsky. Begin with a few questions within the room. Michael, your line is now live.
Hey, Valentin. Hope you're doing well. You are now on the way to a title fight. You are from Ukraine as well as Yaroslav Amosov. For Ukraine as a country, how important would it be this victory if you win the heavyweight title on Friday?
Сколько для Украины это важно, да? Это что, не знаю. Ну, сложилось так, что я выступаю за Российскую Федерацию. Ну, я точно знаю, что в моем родном поселке все будут очень рады, когда я выиграю титул. А как насчет всей Украины, я не знаю. Я думаю, их очень порадовал Ярослав. Как к моему вся страна отнесется к моей победе, не знаю. Точно знаю, что мой поселок будет рад.
Yeah, it happened to be that I represent Russia, not Ukraine, but I know where I'm from the little area, they will be very happy. But compared to Yaroslav and the whole country of Ukraine, I don't really know how they're going to take it.
All right, Jay.
Hey, thanks very much. And, your opponent, Timothy Johnson, has said that yourself and him have some similar styles. So I'm just curious how you view this matchup. And do you see him as a similar fighter to yourself?
Similar fight.
У тебя Тим Джонсона в стиле
похоже.
Mm-hmm. Ты видишь, что у тебя?
Ну и в стойке у нас работа точно очень сильно отличается.
Yeah, there's some similarities with me and Tim Johnson. He likes to hug the cage, and he's decently with the stand-up. I'm more likely to take takedowns and finish guys on the ground, and that is it.
And this is your first... This is your first main event in Bellator, as well as a title fight. So is the feeling any different this week heading into the fight?
Я понял, это есть ощущение другое, да, типа от того, что это... Ну, я понимаю, конечно, что теперь больше ответственности, я выхожу на новый уровень, это, конечно, радует. Ну, теперь осталось самое главное — выиграть этот бой. А так, в целом, ощущения, как и перед предыдущими боями, просто, понятно, что ответственность немного больше, чем до этого.
Yeah, I understand there's more responsibility now since it's a title fight, but I'm feeling the same as before every fight. I'm calm and I'm ready to go.
All right. Best of luck this Friday.
All right,
Thank you.
Maria.
Hi, Valentin. Maria with the Throwing Bows podcast. For a lot of fighters that have the opportunity to fight for an interim title, obviously that's a big honor, but many of them don't feel like the real champion until they're able to unify the belts. If you win the interim title, does that feel like any less of a victory? Do you feel like any less of a champion until you have an opportunity to unify the belts?
В целом, да, переведи.
Но они сказали, типа, бойцы, кто выигрывает вот этот интерим, они не чувствуют полными бойцами, пока не...
Полноценными чемпионами, пока не заполнят.
Два этих.
Еще я должен ответить, я не пойму. Как ты себя чувствуешь?
Ты будешь чувствовать себя как полноценный боец, если ты...
Как полноценный чемпион.
Полноценный чемпион, если ты заберешь этот интерим.
Скажи, я нормально себя буду чувствовать, не люблю такие вопросы. Нормально себя буду чувствовать, как боец. Такой бред.
Yeah, I'm going to feel fine as a fighter. I don't really like that question, so I'm not going to answer it.
Fair enough.
All right, Abraham.
Hey, it's Abraham from the Fightly Report. You come from Fedor's fight team. How important has Fedor and the Nemkov brothers been for your career?
Ты выходишь с команды Федора, и что для тебя значит тренироваться с Немковыми и...
Те же вопросы. Это большая честь тренироваться в этой команде.
It is a very big honor to represent the team and train with those guys.
Thank you.
And last one, Jeff.
Jeff Brantley from the Man in the Cage podcast. Valentin, Timothy Johnson, he has a collegiate wrestling background. How do you feel your Sambo matches up with him in this fight?
У Тимоти Джонсон в колледже
большой рестлинг бэкграунд.
Да, и как работать у тебя самого на таком вот мнении?
Я думаю, в борьбе он не будет лучше меня. В бою, конечно, посмотрим. Ну, думаю, моя борьба точно не хуже, чем его борьба.
I think his wrestling is not better than mine, but we'll see in a fight. And I think my Sambo is better than his wrestling.
All right. Thank you both, and good luck on Friday.
Thank you.
The recording has stopped. This meeting is being recorded.
All right, we are now being joined by Christian Edwards. We'll begin with a few questions from our media. Mason, your line is now live.
What up, Christian? This is Mason from the Sports Sesh podcast. How are you, man?
Good, man. How you doing?
I can't complain. This is your first fight since October. How have you improved since your last fight?
I've just been, I never, like whenever I'm not in camp, I'm still training. I always keep training. I just focus less on intensity and more on learning, like adding things to my game, learning from Greg Jackson, Mike Weichel, John, and Joey Villasenor. So I've learned a lot in the past 8 months, and I think it's going to show in this fight.
What are your thoughts on Simon as an opponent?
He's very tough. This is definitely the toughest opponent of my career by far. And I expect him to bring his A game. So I expect a good fight, but I know my skill set and I believe that I'm a better fighter. So, yeah, I can't really say much about the fight other than just expect a dominant performance on my behalf.
Abraham?
Hey, Christian. There's a lot of hype surrounding your career. Do you feel any extra pressure entering the Bellator cage, or do you thrive under the hype?
Yeah, I always thrive off of it. There's never any pressure because, this is what we signed up to do. We know what we do as fighters. I know that there's a lot of eyes on me, and that really just drives and motivates me to perform better.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Suki?
Hey, Christian, Suki from Suki MMA here. I actually wanted to ask a little about your camp. Clarissa Shields just had a big fight with PFL, and, I feel like the camp's really riding a high at this point. So does that have any effect on you? How are you feeling going into the fight?
Yeah, absolutely. She did amazing. You know what I mean? Just had no quit that whole fight. And, that's the mindset going into every fight, and seeing like someone else with that same mentality, just like no quit, like no surrender. That's awesome. And Clarissa, she's done it all as far as boxing goes, so the fact that she still feels like she has something to improve and comes over to a whole nother sport and does well, is amazing. It's inspiring, really.
Great answer. Looking forward to the fight.
Thank you.
Michael?
Hey, Christian, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
Everything good. Thank you very much for your time. I wanted to ask you are 4-0 currently. What do you think will be the biggest challenge to extend your winning streak to 5-0 and Bellator 261?
You mean like the biggest challenge in this fight?
Yes, sir.
I just think, honestly, I know he's very powerful. He's athletic. So I believe he's going to end. This is, if I'm not mistaken, it's his first fight in the States and in Bellator. So he's definitely going to feel like he has something to prove. So I feel like he's probably going to come out aggressive. And I just have to weather the storm early and make him respect my power. And I believe I'm more than capable of doing that. So, yeah, I think the biggest challenge is just going to be watching out for his power. And that's really about it.
Thank you very much. Good luck on Friday.
Thank you.
All right, Christian. Appreciate it. Good luck Friday.
Thank you.
The recording has stopped. This meeting is being recorded.
All right, we are now being joined by Keoni Diggs. We'll begin with a few questions from our media. Dylan, your line is now live.
Hey there, Keoni. Appreciate you making some time.
Hey, what's up, Dylan? How's it going, my man?
Well, I'm doing well. Appreciate you asking. I'm just curious as to how you're feeling heading into this one, though. I mean, you're facing somebody who's, fought for the championship before, is a ranked contender in the division. Like, what are your thoughts on those facets of this matchup here?
I'm just stoked for the challenge, man. Biggest fight to date. Toughest opponent. We had a pretty tough opponent last time in Derek Campos. Yeah, man, like I said, I'm just looking forward to the challenge. It's a big opportunity and a great challenge to see where I lie at in this division and lie out in this organization. He's been a staple in this organization for a while. So, yeah, man, I'm just pumped for the challenge. We'll figure out the rest on Friday.
Awesome, man. Thanks for the insights, and I appreciate the time.
Thank you, my man.
Michael?
Hey, Keoni, how are you?
Hey, what's up, Mike? How you doing?
Everything good here. Thank you very much for your time. You're currently facing one of the most experienced guy in the whole division who's been active for over 19 years. What's your game plan for this one, and how important would it be for you as a performer, as a fighter, to win this fight on Friday?
Game plan wise, kind of just how I take every fight. Just take what you give me, and we go from there. I definitely know what I'm good at, and I think honestly, I'm just better than him everywhere. Just like going back to the Campos fight. I mean, nothing against Weichel, nothing against Dan at all. I've got a ton of respect for him. Like you said, he's a 19-year veteran, 52 fights, man. He's a legit legend. But hey, man, I'm in it to win it. And that being said, yeah, I'm just out there trying to prove myself. And like I said, just looking forward to the challenge. Not really thinking about wins or losses, more just on the whole process of it and doing the correct things and having a great performance. Not really the outcome I'm looking at, just having a great performance.
Thank you very much. Good luck on Friday.
Thank you, my man.
Jay Anderson?
Thanks very much. And Keoni, when Dylan kicked off the scrum earlier, he mentioned the rankings. And I'm just curious, how much weight do you give the rankings? Because they haven't been around too long. Some fighters seem to like them. Some question them. Where do you sit on that?
To be honest, I mean, it is kind of cool if you see a number next to your name, but at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter at all to me. I just want big fights. I want to win fights. He's a legit opponent. Like I said, 52 fight vet. And I just like the challenges, but yeah, they really don't have any. They have no weight or bearing on me at all. He could not have a number next to his name, and I'd still be in the same mental space that I am now.
And when you talk about your undefeated record, I mean, when we spoke to Daniel earlier, he said that's a little bit of motivation to hand you that first loss. Is it better for you to not even think about that and just let the chips fall where they may?
I never do, brother. I'm 0-0 come Friday.
Fair enough, man. Best of luck on Friday.
Thank you.
Maria?
Hey, Keoni. Maria with the Throwing Blows podcast. How you doing today?
Hey, how's it going, Maria? How you doing?
Good, good. Thank you so much for asking. So, you just mentioned that in these situations, you look at it as you're 0-0 going in, which is probably a great attitude to have. Yes, but coming up against such a veteran fighter, and, obviously you've been in the game for a minute. Everyone knows that those veteran fighters tend to have little veteran tricks up their sleeves. Is there anything about his experience that concerns you?
To be honest, no. I trained with Max Holloway. I've trained with Benson for years. These are all my teammates, and I don't think he's got something that some mystical powers or something because he's got more fights. I've been around for a while, and I train with some pretty good guys, and just alone with that, they instill a lot of confidence in me and have probably a lot more belief in myself than I do within myself. But with that being it, I don't really see anything that's gonna surprise me. Just gotta be laser sharp focused, and everything should work out fine.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maria.
Santiago?
Hi, Keoni. Greetings from Amsterdam, and thank you for the time. You were on the
you're on the home team, guys. Amsterdam. I know that's close to his home. I don't know. No, I'm just
It's
joking.
special here. You should come over. So, Keoni, you were on the Bellator Hawaii card in 2019. That
Yes,
was a
sir.
massive event with a very stacked card. How special was it for you to fight in Hawaii, and how much would it mean to you if Bellator would go back again there in the future?
I'm pretty sure they're gonna go back. It's always great fighting at home. All my family gets to go. All my friends, all my teammates. You know what I mean? I love fighting in the Blaisdell Arena. That's where I had my all the way back to my amateur days. I remember the first time fighting in the Blaisdell Arena. That's the biggest stage that we have in Hawaii, so it means everything to fight there. I'd love to fight there, and I could almost say it's a certainty that they're gonna go back soon as COVID restrictions and we're coming out of this pandemic. I'm pretty sure we're gonna be back there soon. So hopefully maybe in December. Who knows? But I'm praying for it and wishing for it, and yeah, man.
Featherweight is the deepest division in all of Bellator. You missed out the chance to be in the Grand Prix, but that Grand Prix is almost finished now. Do you see a lot of great fights for yourself going forward?
Yeah, definitely. Either here or at lightweight. I'm not done with lightweight either. I'm just keeping my options open. It was more so just to stay mentally engaged when I got hurt back in March and April. Just wanted something to work for instead of feeling sorry for myself sitting on the couch, and so we just stayed on track with diet, stayed on track with the limited amount of workouts that I could do with being no contact and things like that, but just staying mentally engaged and mentally focused, and now we're here.
Suki?
Hey, Suki from MMA, Keoni, pleasure to speak with you. You just talked about some of your great training partners and the time you spent with them. Up till 2019, we only saw you about 5 times in the cage. And do you see yourself now getting to, prospect level? We throw that title out in MMA quite a bit at post-30 fighters. I mean, are you feeling like a guy who's probably in their 20s from a fight perspective and ready to take Bellator by storm?
Can you say that one more time? I was kind of...
Yeah, sorry. You just talked about how great your training partners have been. And over the early parts of your career, we kind of only saw you a few times in the cage, but come 2019, we're really seeing you kind of take the MMA world by storm. And it's almost like even in this sport, we can use the title prospect quite a bit for guys that are, pushing that age of 30, 35. But do you see yourself now as kind of like a reborn fighter, really taking it from scratch with a big organization?
Yeah, man, I got into this sport late. I think I made my pro debut at 28. So like you said, fights were far few in between, especially when I first got started, especially when we're on the local scene. It was kind of hard getting booked, being from a good gym that I was out at the MMA lab in Arizona at the time. But at 34 years old, man, I feel like I'm in the best shape of my life. I really can't explain it. I mean, I guess general knowledge will tell you I'm supposed to be losing a step, but I'm only feeling better and I'm only looking better. So hey man, I'm just here for a good time, not a long time.
Abraham.
Hey Keoni, it's Abraham from the Fight League Report. I was wondering, you've mentioned in the past how you embrace fighting with all the ups and downs, just like you do in life. How is this mindset developed, and would you have any advice for any other up and coming fighters that are still young?
Yeah, just like I had an interview with Rob DeMello back home on KHON too. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint, man. It's all about the journey. Because when you get to look back at it all, it's not about, like I said, it's not about the destination. It's all about the journey, man. So with that and that being said, within fights, in life, anything, it's all about that. If you just focus on the process and do the best you can in the process and not be so fixated on the destination or the finality of whatever it may be that you're reaching for, just enjoy the process and enjoy these moments, because you're never getting them back either. People are so worried about what's going to happen at the end. Am I going to get this promotion? Am I going to get this job? Am I going to win this fight? Just worry about the process and being the best you can be in whatever you do. And that's the advice I got for anybody. That's what I try to stick to, and that's my code.
Last one, Jeff.
Jeff Brantley from the Man in the Cage podcast. To follow up on that question a little bit, obviously you've talked about, persevering through some things in your career outside the cage. Do you think that gives you a mental edge over some opponents that may have more experience than you, such as even Daniel in this fight?
I can't really speak for other people's mentalities or anything like that or any edges, but I just know what I've been through and I survived, and I know a lot of guys would have folded if they had went through what I went through in my life, all the way from when I was young to now. It's a lot of people would have folded. A lot of people would have probably chose something different. A lot of people would have chose not to work at a Panera Bread for 2 years and still train. A lot of people would have chose not to have negative account balances. A lot of people would have chose not to every single month having a low balance in their checks or not making rent. I don't know, man. I came out the mud with this, so I can't really speak for everybody else, but I know I put my heart and soul into this, man. And I'm just enjoying the journey now.
All right. Thanks a lot, Keoni. Good luck on Friday.
The recording has stopped.
Next up is Myles Jury.
This meeting is being recorded.
We are now being joined by Myles Jury. We'll begin with a few questions from our media. Dylan, your line is now live.
Hey there, Myles. Appreciate you making some time.
What's up, Dylan?
Oh, just chilling. I was curious about your training preparations, though, because I'd seen that picture a few weeks ago of you getting in work with Brendan Loughnane. I'm kind of wondering who some of the main people you were getting in work with ahead of this one were.
Yeah, man. Yeah, training was really good. I'm healthy, coming in well prepared. I mixed it up, man. I was training a little bit with Brendan. I had obviously Jeremy Stevens, staple, being there every day. I trained with Mike Perez, who's black belt under Galvao from Atos. I went over to Atos a little bit. I trained with Dean Lister. So, and then, obviously my Alliance crew. So yeah, man, training's good. I cannot complain.
And I was noticing September 30th is Myles Jury Day in Hazel Park, Michigan. Are you making plans for the Myles Jury Day for this one, or a little too soon for that, perhaps?
Yeah, that's a trip, even when people still say that. Yeah, man, Myles Jury Day, September 30th. How cool is that? I think I'll be back in town and looking forward to it.
Awesome. Thanks for the insights, man.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Jay, go ahead.
Thanks very much. And Myles, thanks for the time. Really appreciate it. One thing Sidney told us a few days ago, actually, is that he wishes this was a main event fight because of the reputation that the two of you carry. Is that a sentiment that you share?
It's definitely a perspective to look at it. I mean, I think, yeah, you could definitely make a case that this could be a main event. Both guys, what we bring to the table. I mean, my credibility alone, and I feel like when you match up resumes, who's people fought, names all across the board in Bellator, I mean, definitely I have a bigger resume than a lot of these guys. So yeah, I mean, it could definitely be a main event type of fight.
And when you talk about that resume, if you do get the win here, that's 3 straight over some quality competition. So where does that leave you, in your opinion? And are you at all frustrated by the lack of movement atop the division with Pitbull tied up in the Grand Prix?
Man, I try and focus on stuff that I can control in this game. And believe it or not, there's really, there's just a small portion that I can control. I don't know what Scott wants to do, what Bellator wants to do, Pitbull, all these other guys. So I'm just focused on what's in front of me. I feel like I want to go out there, have a good performance. I'm coming in prepared to do that. And, if all the stars align after this fight and I can get a title shot, that will be a beautiful thing.
Jamie? Jamie, go ahead.
Jamie.
Michael?
Hey, Myles, thank you very much for your time. You spent almost 7 years working for the UFC. You've been 2 years working for Bellator. This will be your 4th fight with them. Organization-wise, what do you think are the main differences between UFC and Bellator, and what's your favorite part of working for Bellator as an organization?
They're both just different companies, man. I mean, UFC it's a big company. I would say it's probably more corporate type of feel. I mean, that's the best way of saying it. Bellator is more of, I'd say, like a mom and pops. You get more one-on-one time with the people who actually work here. It's a smaller crew. And yeah, man, it's been cool working with Bellator. Coming over here, I knew I wanted to compete with some of the greatest fighters around. They have that. I wanted a company that got behind me. They've been doing that, giving me main event, co-main event slots, Showtime, being on Paramount, just giving me main card slots. And I'm excited and blessed to be a part of this company.
Thank you very much for your time and good luck on Friday.
Thank you.
Jeff Brantley from the Man in the Cage podcast. Myles, you had 3 straight losses and then you have now 2 straight wins. Did something click for you, or was it small adjustments? What would you credit for that?
I would just credit me continue to show up to practice, show up to the gym, continue getting out there and competing, man. Adversity comes in many forms, and in this game, it can come in losses. So I just continued chipping away, getting better, staying true to myself, what I wanted, and showing up and putting that work in. And here I am, 2-fight winning streak.
Thanks and good luck on Friday.
Thank you.
Last one, Ronald.
This is Ron E. Smith. Myles, I always also what I also know about you is that you're also very, very proud about being also financially secured outside the fight game. That's something that not a lot of fighters are really able to work well with. When did it click with you to be able to find a way to find the stability while also still balancing your fight game?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, man. For myself, I came up as a fighter. I have no inheritance. I have no college degree. I have nobody paying my bills. So I spent a good portion of my late teens, early 20s living on couches, stretching $20. And then, when I got to the UFC, which was the biggest organization at the time, I knew, I was like, man, I don't want to live like this forever. And then when I started making money there, I was like, damn, I'm making like $8,000 and $8,000. And living in California, I was like, this, where's all the money at? Like, so I kind of just understood right there that I'm not signing an NFL contract and that I'm in a different game, a different league. So I had to really learn about financial education if I wanted to be financially secure. And that's what I did, man. I learned about, real estate assets, liabilities. And since that 2011, 2012, I've been doing smart things with my money. So fast forward now, 2021, I'm in a position where I have enough money coming in every month to pay for my bills. I get to fight. It's a blessing that I choose to do. I don't have to fight for money like I believe a lot of people do. So it came from fear, man. Fear and just being broke. That's kind of what made me make that decision to make those changes to my life. And thank God I did it, because I wake up sometimes and it's just a huge blessing for me and my family to be in a position to not be dependent on having to win a fight or fight to pay the bills.
All right. Thanks for the time, Myles. Good luck on Friday.
Thanks, bud.
The recording has stopped. This meeting is being recorded.
We are now being joined by Kana Watanabe. We'll begin with a few questions from our media. Mark, your line is now live.
Thank you. Kana, I know your past couple of fight camps have been in Japan and you've been traveling here to the United States. How has the travel been affecting you, especially with your last fight? And is it getting easier with this fight?
前は日本で試合したから、これでアメリカに旅行は2回目したで、こっちまで旅行するのは疲れるって、あと、これ2回目でもっとゆっくりできるか。マイクに話して。
今回2回目で結構いろいろ慣れてきました。で、結構あまりアメリカまで来るのはそんなに疲れないで、飛行機の中も楽しく来てます。
She's saying that with this being her second trip, it's gotten much easier. She actually does look forward to it. She enjoys the experience of just being on the plane, and it hasn't been an issue at all.
And a lot of comparisons between yourself and Ronda Rousey in terms of judo, but I've heard that you consider your judo a little bit different than Ronda Rousey's. Can you kind of explain that to me, please?
チームの人はランダラスリーとちょっと似てるって、柔道は、でもどうやって違うって。
ロンダ・ラウジー選手に似てるって言われるのはすごく嬉しい。very happy。でも、柔道スタイルが全然違うので、その技とか、寝技もそうですし、グラウンドもそうだし、投げ技とか柔道のスタイルが全然違うので、違います。
She says that she's very flattered by the comparison to Ronda Rousey, but just fundamentally from everything from ground game to throwing to all techniques, it's very much different in terms of her judo than Ronda.
Suki?
Hey, Kana, the question I did have for you, I was actually just looking at your record, and it was pretty phenomenal to see that you've had such a good experience in MMA. But in this specific fight, we heard that Liz Carmouche say she saw plenty of holes in your game that she can try and exploit. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that, and also if you feel the same way about her game.
Liz さんが前の渡辺さんの試合を見て、弱いところあるって見つけたと言ったの。だから逆にLiz さんの弱いところは見たかありますかって。
そうですね。弱いところ、穴はないとは思うんですけど、私の方が強いところはたくさんあると思ってます。
She says that she doesn't really see any holes in her game and that she is very confident in her skill sets and her strengths to help her get to a win with this match.
Jeff
Brantley from the Man in the Cage podcast. You're sitting in the top 5 of the rankings right now. With the win on Friday, do you want to fight for the title by the end of the year? Do you think a win on Friday gets you that title shot?
今は上の方にいるからランキングで勝ったら多分チャンピオン賞で試合すると思う。
そうですね。勝っていい内容で、勝てればチャンピオンシップに挑戦できると思ってます。
She thinks that if she has a positive showing this Friday, that she should be deserving of an opportunity.
Thank you.
Santiago?
Hi, Kana. Greetings from Amsterdam, and thank you for the time. Your last fight against Alejandra Lara ended in a split decision win. Were you surprised that the fight was scored that close? Because you had some very strong rounds in that fight, am I right?
ララさんと試合した時2-1で勝ったからあれでびっくりした2-1だったら。
いや、2-1だろうなって思って判定を待ってました。
She actually agrees that it was a close decision, and she was very much kind of confirms like the how it turned out.
there will be a massive flyweight title fight between champion Juliana Velasquez and Denise Kielholtz on the next Bellator event. Who do you think is going to win that fight? And do you think Bellator is going to use your fight to bring the next event into the spotlights?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, so the flyweight title fight between champion Juliana Velasquez and Denise Kielholtz will be on the next Bellator event. Who do you think is going to win? And do you think Bellator is going to use this fight of yours to bring that next event into the spotlights?
7月16日、ジュリアナが試合するので、誰が勝つと思う。そして、2人で勝ったら、今日、金曜日の試合すると一緒にすると思うんですか？
タイトルマッチは、チャンピオンのジュリアナ・ベラスケス選手が判定で勝つと思ってます。で、勝った方と、後にタイトルショットをやると思ってます。
She's pretty confident that Juliana's going to win that fight, and she's looking for an opportunity to see her soon after that.
All right, we'll take a couple more here. Maria?
Hi, Kana. Maria with the Throwing Bows podcast. With your success so far in Bellator, you've definitely been dominant. However, Liz Carmouche presents probably or arguably the biggest name that you've faced so far in the promotion. Does that add an extra layer of stress or concern for you as you prepare for this fight?
リスさんが多分一番強い人が試合したので、もっとストレスがあるって聞いてるな。
ストレスは全くなくて、強い選手と戦えるのがすごく嬉しいです。
She's not really too stressed about this fight, but she's very grateful for the opportunity to fight someone of the caliber of Liz for this upcoming fight on this Friday.
Awesome. And the last question for me, obviously fighters with undefeated records, really value those records. For you, will securing a win this weekend be more important to maintain your undefeated record, or do you feel as though it is more important to put on a phenomenal performance, win or lose, in order to be in title contention?
全然負けてないから、どっちの方大事で、今日、金で勝つのは、全然負けないか、強く、金曜日、うまくする方、どっちの方、大事で。
負けてはない、今負けてないけど、そこは関係なく、金曜日、そこは気にせず、金曜日、勝ちに行きたいと思ってます。
She's not too concerned about her record per se. The most important thing for her is that she has a strong performance and it comes out with the win on Friday.
All right, last one, Michael.
Hey, hope both of you are doing well. Thank you very much for your time. I wanted to ask you, you're headed currently into your most important fight of your career. How important for you would it be to take the victory this Friday, both as a performer and as a human, as a person?
これは、君はどのぐらい大事な試合した聞いてるの？
タイトルショットにつながるとても大事な試合になると思ってます。
She says that this is a very important fight because of the title implications, with the outcome of this fight.
And we have actually one more question here from Gongo Matsuyama. Go ahead.
Hi, konnichiwa. How do you feel about your match becoming a co-main event? co-mainイベントになったことについてどのように感じていますか？
すごくなんていうんですか、光栄です。でもただ私はファイトするだけなので、そこはあんまりプレッシャーとかにはなってはなく、試合をするだけっていう感じですけど、 でもすごいセミを張れるのはない経験なのですごい光栄です。
She said that she's flattered about being labeled as a co-main event, but the most important thing is just how she performs this Friday, and she's very grateful for the opportunity.
All right. Thanks for the time, Kana. Thanks, Mario. Appreciate it. Good luck on Friday.
Okay. Thank you very much.
The recording has stopped.
If you have a question for Tim, please press the raise hand button at the bottom of your screen.
This meeting is being recorded.
We are now being joined by Tim Johnson. We have a few questions from the media. Jay, your line is now live.
Hey, thanks very much. And Tim, I know you've credited the move to Extreme Couture for the turnaround that you've had, but is there anything in particular that you worked on that has been really key for those recent successes?
No, I don't think so. I think the main thing is just working with the practice partners I have out there. Is you can't get away with anything. They keep you honest, and if you have bad habits, you're going to have a bad day. So it just took, you can't get rid of bad habits overnight. So it just took some time, and, bad habits that turned into normal habits, not maybe good habits, but they weren't bad anymore.
And it's obviously taken you to a title fight here this weekend. Is there any frustration, though, on your part that it's an interim title and that Bellator allowed Bader to jump into that light heavyweight Grand Prix, even though he no longer holds the title there?
No, I don't know about frustration. I'm counting this as a title. Everyone else can put interim in front of it. Moldavsky is a championship level fighter. This is a championship level fight. And, I think both of us are thinking this is a title fight.
All right. Well, best of luck in it come Friday.
All right. Thank you.
Maria?
Hi, Tim. Maria with Throwing Bows Podcast. How are you today?
I'm doing good.
Awesome. So I'm going to ask you a question that your opponent didn't quite like, and you kind of already touched on with the idea that you are fighting for an interim title. And while you've already said that, for you, it's a title, regardless if the interim is in front of it or not, a lot of fighters that find themselves in this position still feel a need once they win that interim belt to unify the belts. Do you have any feeling about that? Do you feel like there's going to be a need to unify the belt once you win, or are you just kind of good with what it is?
I guess I'm kind of good with what it is. Kind of goes back to my mind of thinking, this is a belt. You can put interim in front of it. Either way, me and Ryan the winner's going to be fighting Ryan either way. And yeah, I don't know. I think this is a title fight. It hasn't been, because the heavyweight title hasn't been fought for in almost 2 years or over 2 years. So yeah, I think I can go ahead and consider it a title fight.
Awesome. And last one for me, Valentin is obviously a very dangerous fight for you. Is there anything in particular in his game that you have focused on during your preparations for this fight? Or are you going in feeling really, really confident in the game plan that you and your team have put together?
Yeah, I focus on his whole game plan a lot because it's the same game plan I have. He fights the same way I do. It doesn't matter who can do it better.
Mills?
Hey, how's it going, Tim? This is MMA Locker Room, part of Pub Sports Radio. Let's speak about your little resurgence of your career real quick in Bellator. I mean, right hook, Tyrell Fortune, ground and pound over Mitrione, decision win over Congo. Has your mentality changed now since you're stepping back into this Bellator ring? And also, I'm going with you on the fight card, man. Underdog money at plus 240. If I was to put you with one other fighter on the card, who do you predict's going to win this coming Friday?
Well, I'm going to stick with, just because military, you guys go with Liz, just because, you got to back up your military. I guess, nothing's really changed except got some confidence back. I kind of had a couple bad fights there, and it's easy to start getting down on yourself. And I've been saying this for a long time, even before my Tyrell fight. I know physically it's always there, or, I can go out there and fight. It just sometimes, biggest opponents yourself, mentally, just got to make sure that I'm ready to go.
Ronald.
This is Ronald E. Smith from Getting Real. Tim, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing good.
A couple of days ago, we celebrated Father's Day, and you celebrate yourself being a dad. So I would love to know, what does it mean for you, Tim? What does it mean to be a father?
I came to answer that question 8 months ago. Now it's I can't imagine a world without my little girl. Everything is thought around her. And maybe that has something to do with my, resurgence in fighting as well. It used to be I just went out there and fought for myself. Now I'm fighting for her and our family, providing a better life.
And what has this training camp been to you so far? Have you had to change anything up for it?
Yeah, I had to change a lot of diapers. But no, it's been a up and down. This is the first training camp with having a baby with my daughter being here. So we definitely had to iron out some details, just kind of get things figured out a little differently. It wasn't like it was the old fight camps of old. But I think we found a good happy medium, and yeah, put a great camp together.
All right, we'll take a couple more here. Jeff
Brantley from the Man in the Cage podcast. Tim, you've had a long career. You've fought in a bunch of big names. Now you get a chance at a title. How does it feel to get that title shot now at this point of your career, and just reflect on your journey a little bit to this point?
It feels great. On top of everything else, sometimes MMA can be a little political. Sometimes people don't get the opportunities they can because of name power or followers, or for whatever reasons they're just dry. It's nice that I think it was a well-deserving opportunity for me. Racked off three great wins, and was able to get the opportunity to fight for a belt.
Thanks. Good luck on Friday.
Hey,
Michael.
Hey, Tim. Thank you very much for your time. You've been active inside the MMA industry for almost 11 years. On Friday, you will have the biggest opportunity so far in your career. On the other side of that cage is going to be Valentin Moldavsky. What do you think will be the biggest challenge you may face in this fight, facing Valentin Moldavsky?
Probably his youth. He's young, spry, full of that piss and vinegar, and he's got that mentality of a young fighter. He's untouchable. Sometimes that can be a hindrance, but for him right now, I don't think it is. This goes into the same category as confidence. His confidence through the roof, along with mine, and we'll just kind of see how it all turns out.
Thank you very much, and good luck on Friday.
Yep, thank you.
Last one, Suki.
Hey, Tim, nice to talk to you. Big question here. So, Sambo's getting really popular in MMA, especially in Bellator right now. So with that American wrestling background, do you feel like a bit more added pressure, or even just the idea of going out and proving that, you can stand that test and pretty much prove you're better than him?
Well, I didn't, but thanks. No, Sambo is a great, equalizer of wrestling. I honestly think so. In MMA wrestling, it's different than American wrestling. And with MMA wrestling, with more upper body, more Greco, kind of more clinch work type wrestling, Sambo really kind of levels the playing field with that. I think my Minikoff fight can attest to that.